Hello, Sanford! You are listening to Sanford Sports Radio. I am Jonathan West, and this is The Howler, where we talk everything and anything Sanford College Coyotes football. And it is week 3 here as the first bye week of the season has taken place. And Sanford's coming off of a tough loss. However, from all aspects, from fans outside of Sanford, from the kids here at Sanford, week 1 was not a loss to them. It was a fight, and it was a big motivational victory. Last year, UConn killed Sanford. It was not even funny. This year, Sanford should have won that game. But hey, it's improvement. That's what the coaches were preaching at the end of that ball game 2 weeks ago, and that is what a lot of people are talking about, me included. One thing to look at is that if they can do that against UConn, well, this week they've got FIU. On paper, not UConn. Let's just put it that way. It's a solid team. It's a team, of course, that goes far back with Coach Adam Wolf, Darren's father. But, not the UConn Huskies. There's a big chance at a big Coyotes victory this week. On the recruiting side of things, on the other hand, things are going pretty well for the most part. Casey and Dylan Trevor are the prime objectives, it seems, for Coach Wolf. Casey's still having some time to try and think if he wants to stay close to home. He's fighting with the idea of Boston College right now. Sam Trevor, though, and Dylan Trevor are fully entrenched in staying home. A big shock is Brandon Clifton not getting a lot of interest from other schools. Sanford being really one of the only ones interested. He's a good quarterback. That would be a steal for this school and possibly a guy that can contend to start next year. That quarterback room will get even more dangerous. Some other names to keep in mind is Jamon Williams, the cornerback. Ben Williams seems to be looking other ways. Same thing with linebacker Brandon Walters. One guy, though, that's not looking any other way is Jackson Stone, the kicker. That's a priority. Hopefully, he can keep coming here. Tyrese Baker, another player that's been looked at a lot, is still looking at hometown Syracuse. Sanford's on the radar. So quarterbacks, hey, they're looking the way of the Coyotes. That's a positive, in my opinion. Now let's talk about this week's game and the importance of this week's game. And when I'm talking about the importance of this week's game, I'm talking more than just wins and losses. For Coach Darren Wolf, he's going up against his father's old team. Mark Riley and Drew Martin, no FIU. Former Golden Panthers themselves. They're taking on, kind of this situation of we've got to beat them, we've got to show we've gotten better than that. It's almost that respect type of thing. You got to prove to the elder that you can earn that respect. That's why I feel this week's going to be. One of my favorite things is I've already gotten word from Coach Wolf that his father, Adam Wolf, the former FIU head coach, will be in the stands here in Sanford this week. He was initially going to be on a sideline, decided not to because of his involvement with both schools. I respect that entirely. So it's going to be fun to see that it's almost like a coming out party for Darren. He gets to say, hey, Dad, look at me take on your school. And it's going to be interesting to see how different this FIU team is. We'll see how well they play against Sanford. And I'm wondering if they even keep the style of coaching that Coach Adam Wolf had there. I mean, they were a very run-heavy offense in the time when Coach Wolf was there. I'm wondering if it's still the same or not. We'll find out this week. And another thing we have to keep in mind is, of course, something that a lot of people have been talking about is the turnovers. Parker Dillon threw a lot of picks. He was a much more solid quarterback, but threw a lot of picks. The turnovers have to be down. They cannot allow those turnovers to happen. This team, however much they prove they can fight back, they're not to the point that I think they can win making that many mistakes. So key points this Saturday, turnovers, and the respect game. We will see you folks this Saturday when Sanford hosts the FIU Golden Panthers. You've been listening to Sanford Sports Radio. I'm Jonathan West, and I will see you then. Hello, Sanford, and welcome, as it is time for Sanford College football to take place here. You're listening to Sanford Sports Radio. I'm your man on the call, Jonathan West, and it is time as the Coyotes play host to the Florida International Golden Panthers. And I spoke about it on the Howler earlier this week. It's a battle of wolves almost, conveniently. You have Coach Adam Wolf, who's in the stands this week, watching his son, Darren Wolf, the coach of Sanford, take on the team he used to coach, the FIU Golden Panthers. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a fun one. I can't wait to see these FIU Golden Panthers and these Coyotes, especially since Darren brought out the All Blues for this one. He means war. This team is hyped up as much as any for this Week 3 matchup. As we're about to get underway here in Sanford City Stadium, they're setting everything up on the field. They've already done the coin toss, and they're kicking off here as Tracy Weaver gets us underway, and that is Thomas Owens returning that kick. So he is able to get away from the first two Coyotes that got their 26-yard return for the wide receiver. As there's the man to watch, halfback Alex Gardner. He's a tough runner. You're going to have to see how well he does this week. As it seems they start in the single back formation as FIU is McGough to throw. He connects with Williams. That's Julian Williams. 14-yard reception and a new set of downs for the Golden Panthers early. Now they're in the I formation here. McGough's going to give it to Gardner. He'll take it around that right side, but stuffed he is. Only a 1-yard gain as the first man there was Troy McLaughlin. Great play by the defense. 2nd and 9, a screen to Gardner. That's not going anywhere. That is true freshman Deshaun Hollis. They got there first, the big defensive end. 3rd and 8 now for these Golden Panthers. They need a big first down as there is a name that I can't pronounce. I've seen that name on my sheet here. I'm going to try my best. Shug Owegle. Owegenle. I can't pronounce that. I formally apologize for that young man. That is a hell of a name. As an incompletion on first down for Alex McGough, it was just dropped. That's his first incompletion of the day. 2nd and 10 now as McGough drops back. He connects with Julian Williams again, and that's going to be a big gain of 9. They've got a manageable 3rd and 1 now as the Coyotes defense looks to hold here. As it looks like they're going to bring the pressure of the Coyotes, and they do, but Napoleon Maxwell gets just enough to the outside for the first down. It's 1st and 10 now here for FIU. They go screen, but put it all in cruise control, folks, as Richard Cruz with a hell of a stop. As McGough under center, he's going to drop back. He connects with Brent Seal, and that's going to be a gain of 9 there. 3rd and 2 upcoming here now as they go back under center. Offset I-4, McGough hands off to Gardner, and Gardner gets, once again, just enough for the first. As it's 1st and 10, they kept this ball on the ground a lot here as a 3-yard gain from Alex Gardner. It's nice to see the run game still in effect here at FIU as much as it was when Coach Wolf was the head coach. As 2nd and 7, McGough to throw. He hooks up with Cantrell, but he can't keep it. That is a drop 3rd and 7 upcoming. Under centers McGough. This is a big opportunity for this defense. As they go play action, McGough connects with Thomas Owens. It's a fumble, but out of bounds. And that's going to be a big 18-yard gain. Jason Turner was the man who forced the fumble with the big hit out of bounds. 1st and goal now as they are at the 5. McGough to throw. He tries to connect over the middle, but Cruz was right there, and he should have had an interception there. He's got to fix those hands. They are made of solid stone, I would have you believe. As McGough pitches it out on 2nd and goal, that is Alex Gardner again A loss of 4 yards, though, as Ronnie Hansen was the man on the tackle. 3rd and goal in the shotgun as McGough to throw. He's looking for a wide open target, but can't find him. That's 4th and goal upcoming. They'll have to settle for a field goal. It's 3-0 as Sanford gets going on their first offensive possession, and Claude Fleming can't go anywhere. The true freshman shut down quick by Jordan Guest, the linebacker. Now they'll go to the air on 2nd and 12. A short check down to Tremaine Dingle. And the speedy receiver makes the most out of it with a 12-yard gain. There we go. As Dingle got a big touchdown last week, he's going to try and continue this good start here this week. As Dillon to throw again on 1st and 10. Going deep. And that one is batted away by Tyree Johnson. 2nd and 10 now as Dillon hands off. That one's going to Claude Fleming. And Fleming with a nice gain of 4. That's going to make it a more manageable 3rd, but it's still tough. 3rd and 6. Pistol formation. No Tanner Patrick this week as Dillon takes off. And he's got enough off the option. That's going to be an 8-yard gain and a new set of downs. 1st and 10 out of the full house. Handoff goes to McTaggart. And McTaggart can't find any room. He loses one on that as Xavier Hines, the man that brought him down. 2nd and 11 now as Dillon to throw. He's going to go deep, and somehow Duron Costello off a deflection by, I believe that's Jordan Guest. What a catch, Costello. 1st and 10 thanks to the miraculous Duron Costello catch, as out of bounds goes that one intended for Harrison Frazier. 2nd and 10 now as Dillon hands off to Claude Fleming, and Fleming takes it up for a gain of 5. Makes it a manageable 3rd down once again. 3rd and 5. Dillon to throw quickly. That's Herb Fellows. 1st down and more for the big number 1 receiver, who's already got over 200 yards this year. 1st and 10. Dillon to throw, but he goes down. Able to get that ball out of his hands in time, though, so it won't be a sack. This might just be the last play of the first quarter, as it has gone quick, folks. Claude Fleming with the pitch, and he'll go back a yard and down, as Vontarius West, the man who brought him down. That will take us to the end of the first. It's 3-0 early for FIU. You're listening to the Sanford Sports Radio. We'll be back with the second quarter after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sanford Sports Radio. I'm Jonathan West. It's 3-0 FIU on top, as 3rd and 11 for Sanford, and Parker Dillon cannot connect. Well, technically he could, but Harrison Frazier couldn't hang on. And that's going to bring out Weaver for a field goal, and he was complete on it, as a huge shot to Alex Gardner. Richard Cruz, welcome to the hit parade. 2nd and 10 now as McGough throws here, and they go short. That's Shug again. I'm not going to say that last name. I've got too much respect for these young men. As it's 3rd and 9, McGough to throw, going to the screen for Gardner, and he is bottled up quick. Ronnie Hansen, folks, doing a great job at that number 4 corner spot. 1st and 10, Dillon to throw. Connects with Fellows. That's going to be a big 1st down there, as that's a gain of about 15. 1st and 10 play action. Dillon looking for an open target, and he can't find Fellows. He finds Jordan Guest instead, who was standing in front of Fellows the entire time. That's a poor decision on Parker Dillon's half there. It was obvious he couldn't get that ball to Fellows. I think he just was looking number 1's way. As 1st and 10 now for FIU after the interception. But down goes Alex McGough, as that is Deshaun Hollis' first career sack. 2nd and 14 now as McGough to throw. He hooks up with Thomas Owens short. That'll be a gain of 3. Turner, the man who brought him down. 3rd and 11 now in the shotgun for the Golden Panthers as McGough sends his tight end in motion here. He looks to throw. Has plenty of time, goes deep down the field, and that should have been picked, but McPherson and Cruz couldn't pick who wanted it more. But that's still deflected. They have to punt. 1st and 10 now. Sanford looking for a screen here for Fleming as Fleming avoids one would-be tackler, but loses two as he's brought down. 2nd and 12 now. As pistol formation, they're going to go back to the option. Dillon takes a shot. He needs to not take those. That's a 5-yard gain. He can't be taking those big hits. They need him under center. So they go to a screen for Rob Thomas on 3rd and 7. That was a tight throw to make, and Thomas can only gain a yard. 1st and 10 here for FIU now after the Sanford punt. McGough to throw. He checks down to Brancil. There we go, thank you. Brancil for a loss of 2 there as it's 2nd and 12. McGough across the middle, deflected as I don't believe the receiver even knew the ball was in his vicinity. Turner should have gone for the pick instead. He might have gotten it. As 3rd and 12 now for McGough as he connects with Thomas Owens, and Heath Haley lays a huge hit onto Owens. As 1st and 10 here for Dillon under center. As the punt from FIU gives good field position. Well, not great field position, but that'll be great field position after 32 yards deep to Rob Thomas, the true freshman. What a play. He gets wide open. It's an easy pitch and catch. As into Golden Panther territory are the Coyotes as they go back to their ground game. 3-yard gain there for Claude Fleming. 2nd and 7 now. Under center is Dillon. Dillon drops back. Looking for his open man downfield. He wanted Thomas again, but throws out of bounds. Overshot his intended target. 3rd and 7 with 1.5 minutes left to go in this half. Dillon to throw. He hooks up with Rob Thomas, but a big shot, and he can't hang on. As a punt here by Sammy Carter, and that ball, they're going to call it out of bounds at the 1-yard line. What a pump by Carter as the handoff goes to Gardner. And Gardner is dragged down after what they're calling a gain of 2. Turner once again the man on the tackle. He is everywhere. 2nd and 8 now. Under center is McGough. He hands off. Gardner still in the end zone. That's a safety, folks. Ronnie Hansen brings him down for 2 points. It's 3-5. That is one of the weirdest scores I have ever called in my life. 1st and 10 here for Sanford as they get the ball back after that safety, and Dingle with a nice 14-yard reception. 1st down Sanford as they get a chance to possibly put some more points on the board before half. Dillon rolling out right here. Looking for a man, but he goes down. A loss of 13 yards. That's a big sack to take. 15 seconds left in this half. They're going to throw. Dillon goes deep, and it's intercepted by Tyree Johnson. As that was just underthrown for his intended target, who was Harrison Frazier. But a big interception for Tyree Johnson to stop Sanford from putting points on the board before the half, because a reception there, they can easily get a Tracy Weaver field goal from that range. I fully believe that. 1st and 10 here for FIU, as I believe we'll just see him chuck it downfield in the hopes of a Hail Mary, as there's the deep ball. And that's picked off. Flash Gibson gets the ball back. As Gibson gets his 2nd pick of his career here. The true freshman showing he's got an eye for that football in that backfield. You got to give him credit in that secondary, as he was surrounded by white jerseys, and he came down with it. That's impressive. As that will take us to halftime, folks. It's a strange score here. 5-3, Sanford is on top. You're listening to the Sanford Sports Radio. I'm Jonathan West, and the second half will be here just after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the second half of play here at Sanford FIU. I'm Jonathan West on the Sanford Sports Radio as it's 5-3, and Tremaine Dingle just got a 6-yard completion there. I'm sorry, 6-yard reception for the young man. As 2nd and 4 here, Dillon going play action across the middle. That's Rob Thomas again, 22 yards for the young freshman as he once again gets them in FIU territory. 1st and 10 now, Dillon under center. He's going to hand off to Fleming. It's Claude Fleming with a nice 5-yard run. He's starting to find some more running room. Not a lot more, but at least it's an extra 2 yards. More than 3. You got to take that for what it's worth. 2nd and 5 now, under center is Dillon as he's going to hand off to Fleming, and Fleming finds more than 5 yards there. That's a gain of 8 and a new set of downs. 1st and 10. Dillon drops back here. He's going deep as that one's nearly intercepted. He wanted Deron Costello, but Tyree Johnson nearly had a second interception there. 2nd and 10 now as the handoff goes to McTaggart. As McTaggart can't find any room there, he's not going to gain anything on that one. 3rd and 10, shotgun formation. Dillon looking to throw, and he runs out of time as he goes down. McIntyre can't hold his block long enough, allowing Silva to come in for the sack as now FIU takes back over after the Sammy Carter punt. And Shug gains another 12-yard reception there. As once again, I reiterate, I will not try and mispronounce his last name. That thing is insane. McGough takes off here on 1st and 10. That's a gain of 5 as he's brought down by, I believe, Heath Haley. 2nd and 5 now, under center goes McGough. As Gardner hasn't seen the ball much, they go play action here, and Owens just can't get his hands on, as I believe possibly Richard Cruz might have gotten a tiny bit of that football. 3rd and 5 now. As a man in motion is the tight end. McGough to throw. He hooks up. No, I thought he hooked up with Julian Williams, but Trey McLaughlin gets in the way first and foremost, as they will have to punt again. It's back to the Sanford offense. This Coyote offense has been on the field a good amount. They just got to put points on the board. There's a 2-yard run there for Fleming, as this FIU defense has been tough to run on today. Dillon looking for his man here on 2nd and 8, and nearly connects with Fellows, but Fellows can't hang on to it. 3rd and 8 now, as in the shotgun formation, Dillon wants Fellows. He's able to get him this time, as behind behind Tyree Johnson, as that is a huge, huge catch from Fellows, as he is having a great start to this season. Can I hear All-American? As 1st and 10 now here inside the red zone is Fleming. Takes the carry down to about the 11-yard line. 2nd and 7 upcoming after that 3-yard gain. As under center against Dillon, I form. He's going to drop back though. Dillon going to take off with it here, but he loses the football. Luckily, that one went out of bounds. It'll be a 3-yard gain. That was almost a huge issue. Luckily, it didn't go the wrong way, as McTaggart takes the handoff, and they're going to give him enough. 4 yards and enough for the first. I didn't think he got there, but hey, I'm not going to complain. I am not going to complain at all for this offense. As 1st and 10, this 3rd quarter has gone quick. Only a minute 30 left here. Is a 4-yard gain by Dillon. He'll be down at the 1. Nearly fought his way into the end zone. 2nd and goal now, I formation. They pitch out. That's Fleming. Touchdown, Coyotes. Good blocking by this team, as that is the first touchdown of the day, and Sanford is handedly on top. McGough now with a throw to, I believe, Gardner, but Gardner couldn't hang on. 2nd and 10 here now as McGough looks to throw out a shotgun. He's going to take off, though. Instead, he finds room around the right side, and he is brought out of bounds by Richard Cruz. A 12-yard gain and enough for the first. As it's 1st and 10 here for FIU in the shotgun. McGough across the middle, fine shug. That's enough for a first and into Coyote territory. Brought down by Jason Turner, and that gives him 40 yards on the day so far. 1st and 10 now as the handoff goes to Napoleon Maxwell. He fights off of one would-be tackle, but that is only going to be a 3-yard gain. 2nd and 7 here now as McGough pitches it off to Alex Gardner. That's going to be enough for a 4-yard gain and take us to the end of the 3rd quarter as Sanford now fully on top. 12-3 Coyote football. And you are listening to Sanford Sports Radio. I've been Jonathan West. The 4th quarter is coming up right after this. Welcome back, everyone. The 4th quarter of play is starting here now for FIU. 3rd and 3. It's 12-3. Sanford on top is Gardner with a big run to the outside as that is a 23-yard gain on that pitch. What a play. As just some good blocking on Richard Cruz. He was unable to get past the blocks. That's really what made that run what it was. 1st and 10 here as they go fullback, halfback toss. As that's Napoleon Maxwell on the run. Gain of 5 there, brought down by McPherson. 2nd and 5 here as they continue to get closer and closer to the end zone as McGough sheds off Shane Townsend. He loses the football, though, as Maxwell's able to pick it up. It'll be a loss of 4 as Jason Turner will get credited for that sack. As we'll see this again, he's the one who forced the fumble here. So it's kind of a combination of Turner and McLaughlin combining here. But amazing that McGough even got off of the Shane Townsend tackle. 3rd and 13, McGough to throw. Hooks up with Thomas Owens, and he got literally just enough. As it is 1st and goal now here, as under center is McGough. They're in that offset eye, McGough to throw, and he finds Julian Williams just over the head of Heath Haley. That is a touchdown FIU. It is still going to be a Sanford lead, but it's now once again a 2-point ball game. Well, pending the extra point, of course. As it's 1st and 10 now for Sanford as they take back over play action here from the pistol. Dillon trying to find his man. He checks down to Bradford on the run, and that's going to be a gain of 7. I will take that more than any mistake. 2nd and 3 here out of shotgun. Handoff goes to Claude Fleming as Fleming finds a little bit of room, and they will give him enough for the first. They'll say it was 4 yards. 1st and 10 now as Dillon goes back to Fleming. They're just going to keep this on the ground as that's 8 yards for the freshman running back, as that is a great carry there. And this is just going to kill clock. This is a smart drive. They're taking up as much time as they can here. 2nd and 2 as that's an interception intended for Fleming. That's Lubin with the pick. That is a huge mistake this late in the ball game. Dillon can't be throwing interceptions like that this late. I know there were a lot of people wondering this week exactly who was going to start at quarterback. Dillon would remain the starter with all the interceptions. He did, and well, now it might be in question again as a 1-yard gain there for Alex Gardner. 2nd and 9 here now as McGough to throw. He quickly chucks that one away, sensing pressure really quick. 3rd and 9 now, McGough in the shotgun. As McGough takes the snap, looking for his man. Pressure was coming in quick, and that was nearly intercepted. Flash Gibson has an eye for that football, man. 4th and 9, it's 1st and 10 now following the FIU punt. As Ron Costello was held up a bit by Tyree Johnson. Surprised there was no call on that one. 2nd and 10 here as Fleming takes the carry. That's a 5-yard gain for the young freshman as he's had a solid day on the ground. 3rd and 5 out of the shotgun for Dillon. As he connects with Rob Thomas on a low throw for that curl. That's a smart idea. Make sure Thomas is the only man that can get that football. As a new set of downs here for the Coyotes. Dillon off play action. He wanted Fellows, connects with the wrong jersey. That's Gonzalez with the interception. And that's number 4 on the day. That's what, 4, 8, or 9 in the first 2 games again. Not looking good. Not looking good at all for Parker Dillon this year. It's more of the same for the most part. He's looked sharp at times and made big mistakes. This can't happen. I brought it up in the Howler, and now it's actually happening this week. This is going to hurt us as an incompletion there bounces off the back of the intended target's jersey, I believe. 2nd and 10 for FIU as McGough connects with Julian Williams, and he fights enough for the first. That's a 12-yard gain. First and 10 now for FIU. Man in motion's the tight end as there's the throw quickly out of bounds by McGough. He does not want to risk taking any big hits. That's smart though. 2nd and 10, 2.5 minutes remain in this ballgame is a huge hit by Trey McLaughlin. 3rd and 7 now. Man in motion once again, the tight end. It's McGough. Connects with Julian Williams. What a toe tapping catch. Great play by Williams, I'll give him that. As 1st and 10, we just hit 2 minutes. Pitch goes out to Gardner, but Turner all over it. That's a loss of 5. Jason Turner showing his just versatility here and his speed. 2nd and 15 is McGough to throw. He connects with Maxwell as Maxwell is brought down. That is 3rd and 9 upcoming. As 3rd and 9 shotgun formation, Sanford took a timeout to save some clock for when they get back on offense. McGough throws the screen. Down goes Gardner for a loss of 5. That's Ronnie Hansen. And they're going to go for it here on 4th. This is a huge play. As Sanford's defense lets up the big play. That's Julian Williams who was left wide open. Touchdown FIU. As they're going to go for 2 here. They go for the run with Gardner, but he was corralled almost immediately. It's going to be 16-12 now. 1:20 left. They have to make a big play here as Fleming on the screen. He's got blocks. 30, 20, 15, down at the 11. What a play. 64-yard screen pass. That is what this team needed. It's a great confidence booster for Parker Dillon getting a screen pass like that. And it's even bigger when the play is that big. They need a touchdown though to win this ball game. A field goal won't do it. One more big play wins it here, folks. 1st and 10. Handoff goes to McTaggart. They're going to take some time, it looks like. As they take their last time out, though, after that run with McTaggart, they're going play action here. Dillon wanted Rob Thomas in the back of the end zone, but that's picked off. You're kidding me. What an interception. As FIU takes it away from Sanford with a pick in the end zone. Another tough loss. This one may be worse than UConn. I don't know. It's getting tough to even watch these losses because of how close this gets. Sanford was just yards away from winning. But once again, an interception takes it away. But I don't fault Parker Dillon for that throw. That was a great interception by FIU. It was a smart look to go Rob Thomas's way. He had been a hot hand all day in the receiving corps. But it's just another tough loss to take. 16-12 is your final. FIU, your winners. As we'll see exactly how the coaching staff feels, how the players feel next week as they get ready for what might be their biggest test of the season against the West Virginia Mountaineers. I've been Jonathan West. You've been listening to Sanford Sports Radio. And I will see you folks next week for the Howler.